Kathmandu, Nepal. City of temples and the gateway to the Himalayas. Walking around the streets of Kathmandu is both surprising and overwhelming. We spent about 11 days total here to truly experience the culture and immerse ourselves, but also to try to figure out what exactly makes Kathmandu so unique. We also made sure to visit the highly recommended tourist spots, as well as what other travel guides have recommended. We'll begin with a general overview of Kathmandu and the Kathmandu Valley, and then get down into some of the most common questions or really truly unique things that you should be aware of when planning your visit. Finally, we'll talk about and hopefully you'll learn and star some things on your map of places that you want to visit when you come to Kathmandu. Let's go. Kathmandu is the capital city of Nepal, located in the Kathmandu Valley in the central region of the country. It is a vibrant and bustling city with a diverse population of people from different ethnic and religious backgrounds, including Hinduism and Buddhism. If you would enjoy viewing a more cinematic, shorter video without commentary, click to watch this video. When you visit Kathmandu, you will most likely stay in the Thamel neighborhood, which is perfect for seeing much of what Kathmandu has to offer on foot. We did find the mall to be very touristy, but because of the amount of tourists in the area, there are a wide variety of different businesses offering activities from trekking tours to rock climbing to karaoke, dance clubs, there was art, and there was great food at all different price points. Kathmandu offers a variety of transportation options to help visitors navigate the city. One of the best ways to explore the city is on foot, especially if you're looking to explore different areas of interest. However, it's essential to note that the sidewalks in Kathmandu may be small or non-existent, so pedestrians should take care while walking. Taxis are also widely available throughout the city, and visitors can flag them down from the roadside almost anywhere. It's important to note that you should try and barter on the fare before agreeing to the ride. Additionally, tipping is not customary in Nepal. Buses are how the majority of Nepalese people get around. There are multiple private and public buses that run throughout the city and include vans, three-wheeled microbuses, and your typical bus. The fares are very inexpensive compared to other transportation options. Lastly, we did see some rickshaws, and they are a fun and unique way to explore the many different bustling and busy streets. Traffic jams can be a huge problem in the city, especially during peak hours, and that's why walking has the best option for us. The air quality in Kathmandu can be a significant concern when thinking about or when you're visiting the city, which is surrounded by mountains, which traps the pollutants, which then leads to those high levels of smog and poor air quality. We both developed coughs after a few days because of this quality of air. During the winter months, the air quality in Kathmandu can be particularly bad due to the lack of rain in the area. The 2015 earthquake is still visible. The devastating earthquake that struck Nepal in 2015 had a significant impact on Kathmandu, and its effects can still be seen throughout the city as we walked through. You can see many buildings that were affected being held up by wood beams, and even chunks still missing. Many historic sites, including Durbar Square in Kathmandu, Patan, and Bhaktapur, were severely damaged or completely destroyed. It was fascinating to see as well as learn about these restorations of these historic sites. Safety on the streets. We felt Kathmandu was generally a safe city for visitors. However, there are a few things to keep in mind in order to ensure your safety while exploring. In general, just be cautious while walking on the city streets, as traffic is usually chaotic and unpredictable. and many of the side parts of the road where you will be walking can be pretty uneven. We also would like to note that at night, if you look the part, you'll have locals asking if you want to buy any drugs. Also at night, things seem to close down earlier than we expected, including the bars and restaurants. So it's a good idea to avoid traveling alone at night and stick to busy, well-lit roads. Food in Nepal. The 3 items you will want to try the most in Nepal: dal bhat, momos, and curries. There are plenty of other videos about where to eat, so we'll just leave it at that. Now let's dive into the Thamel district itself and the places worth visiting. Thamel is a vibrant and bustling district in Kathmandu that some people say resembles Koh San Road in Bangkok. However, it really didn't feel like that to us. It has basically everything you would need or want, including laundry, trekking gear, souvenirs, guides, tours, food, drinks, you name it. Despite it feeling pretty touristy, Thamel is a great place to just get completely lost and explore all of the random roads and alleys that you can walk. Food options were plentiful, ranging from budget-friendly to pretty high-end, with a variety of different types of cuisine as well. The area can be quite loud with a lot of car noises, so just keep that in mind when you're looking for a place to stay, whether it be a hotel or a hostel. We noticed that many buildings looked to be of significant historical importance. In fact, we looked up quite a few, but only found that they were just pretty old buildings, built in the same style of that time, making it even more interesting and fascinating. We also found 2 supermarkets in this area, just in case you forgot something at home. You'll also find religious shrines or temples on what feels like every single block, just adding even more to the district's cultural richness. Monkey Temple, or Swayambhunath. Sorry if I butchered that. It's about a 40-minute walk outside of the mall. You could take a taxi if you don't want to walk. The Monkey Temple is one of the most iconic sites in Kathmandu. It is perched on a hilltop overlooking the city with lots of rich cultural heritage. Smog was a problem for us, so visibility over the city wasn't the greatest. But that being said, I would still recommend visiting for the sunrise. All of the monkeys will come out and eat the food that people have brought or left. You'll reach the temple by climbing a steep staircase that passes colorful prayer flags and carvings. They advertise that the staircase is about 350 steps However, I stopped counting around 365 to 375. At the top of the staircase, you'll be greeted by an impressive stupa and many smaller religious shrines and statues. During the sunrise, we observed many daily rituals, offerings, singing, and praying. It should also be noted that there was a fee for foreigners to enter the Monkey Temple. Garden of Dreams, inside the Thamel district. The Garden of Dreams is a peaceful oasis nestled in the heart of Kathmandu. This beautiful garden was built in the early 1920s and was designed to provide a peaceful respite from the chaos of the city. However, what remains today is about half of what the garden was when it was originally built. It was renovated in the 1990s. However, due to neglect and disrepair, much of it was lost. The garden features lush green lawns, elegant pavilions, and serene fountains that just create a beautiful, peaceful atmosphere for all visitors to enjoy. We visited during the morning hours to avoid some of the crowds, and I will say that we also had to pay for an entrance fee for this location. Akash Bhairab is a historic temple located in the heart of a bustling intersection. The pagoda-style temple is beautiful itself, but the main reason to visit is the surrounding market stalls that serve some of the best and cheapest lassi drinks in the city. Lassi is a traditional yogurt-based drink that is both refreshing and nutritious. Pashupatinath Temple is one of the most sacred Hindu temples in the world and located on the Bagmati River in Kathmandu. It is dedicated to Lord Shiva and well worth the visit, even though it's a little far away from Thamel, about 50 minutes walk. Here, you can witness traditional Hindu cremation ceremonies along the river, as well as observe the daily rituals and prayers that take place within this temple complex. It is a vast complex with temples, smaller shrines, and pavilions. Foreigners must pay an entrance fee, and it is also worth considering an additional fee for a tour guide. For us who are not as familiar with Hindu practices, we definitely learned a lot more than we would have on our own. The Boudhanath Stupa is about a 70-minute walk from Thamel. To save time, we walked between the previous temple and the stupa. It is one of the most significant and largest stupas in the world. If you visit here, you'll want to come around sunset or sunrise for some of the most spectacular photos. It is important to walk in a clockwise direction while visiting the stupa. They have dozens of shops, cafes, rooftop restaurants, and hundreds of prayer wheels in the area. Definitely worth a visit. Asan Bazar is one of the busiest places in Kathmandu, where you'll find many locals shopping. The streets are very narrow, crowded, and easy to get lost in, but it is still well worth it since you could just keep walking in one direction and eventually get back to a main street. We found a wide variety of shops selling everything from spices and textiles to wood carvings and tools, toys and TVs. It's basically a one-stop shop of Kathmandu. It's also fairly easy to get to since it's the district just south of Thamel. If you want the experience of the local side of Kathmandu, this will be a must-visit spot. The Palace Museum was a former residence of the Nepali king. Unfortunately, no cameras or phones are allowed on the complex, so we don't have anything to show you but the outside. Dharahara Tower is still under construction since it was destroyed in the 2015 earthquake. According to what we have read, the tower that was destroyed was even higher than the one they are currently finishing construction on. Rani Pokhari, which means Queen's Pond, is a tribute to the king's son that had died at a young age. It is only open to the public one day a year. Kathmandu Durbar Square is a stunning complex of temples, palaces, and courtyards that reflect the intricate craftsmanship and artistic traditions. The square is surrounded by historic buildings, including one where a living goddess lives. The tallest temple, Teleju Bhavani, I believe is only open one day a year, so we were unfortunately not able to visit it. Most buildings that were damaged from the earthquake have been restored, which was great to see. We spent at least half a day here exploring the various temples, shrines, and statues. There is also a museum inside, so make sure to visit it as it is included with the price of admission. The living goddess called Kumari Gar comes out at specific times throughout the day, so try to plan your visit accordingly. We also noticed that some of the shrines were open when we arrived and were closed a couple of hours later. Overall, this square is well worth the visit and the admission fee. Just south of Durbar Square, you can find Freak Street, a historic street located in the southern part of Kathmandu. In the 1960s and 70s, it was a popular destination for hippies and Western travelers, but most of that is now gone. It had the same vibes that we had in the Thamel district, but maybe a little bit more modern. New Road Gate is a historic landmark that was once an entrance gate to the city. The street is very busy, with lots of shops and restaurants surrounding it. We then randomly came across hundreds of people waiting in a winding line to visit the Kathmandu Temple. Patan, also known as Lalitpur, is a little ways south of Thamel. You can get there by taxi, bus, or walking, which is what we did. It has a rich cultural heritage with many ancient temples, palaces, and courtyards in a very small area known as the Durbar Square. This area was also affected by the 2015 earthquake, but many of the buildings have already been restored. There's also a museum included with admission to the square that is definitely worth visiting. At the very south end of the square, you can cross the street, and the first building that has a couple shops, you can find a hidden staircase where you can get a great view of the square. We would have visited this area again if we had extra time to spare or if it was closer to downtown Kathmandu. Our final stop on our Nepalese adventure was Bhaktapur, which is located just outside of Kathmandu, but it's still in the Kathmandu Valley. You'll need to take a taxi or a bus to get here, but it's definitely well worth the trip. Unlike Kathmandu, Bhaktapur is relatively clean and free of smog, which was great. But the city itself suffered extensive damage during the 2015 earthquake. The amount of shrines and temples in the small walkable city is pretty amazing. Most of the buildings have been rebuilt in this historic area. One of the highlights of Bhaktapur is trying the famous king curd, which I would say is pretty comparable to yogurt. You can find it at many street vendors throughout the city. Another must-visit spot is Pottery Square, where you can watch local artisans at work creating beautiful pottery pieces and the same pots that king curd comes in. Down a small alleyway is this impressive wooden peacock, which is known as the Mona Lisa of Nepal and actually survived every earthquake. Be sure to arrive early in the morning to beat the crowds and the heat. Thanks for following along on our adventure in Kathmandu. We hope you take with you some of the vibrant culture, stunning architecture, and warm hospitality of the Nepali people, as well as some ideas for your trip. And our wish is that you are able to experience the wonders this incredible city has to offer. Until next time, namaste.